Hello, I'm Charlie Brooker and you're watching Weekly Wipe, a programme about things that are happening, things like this. Thanks to depressing goings-on in North Africa, the world has a new #1 bogeyman, and it's this guy,
Mokhtar Belmokhtar, a Bin Laden 2.0 whose cheery face was scarcely off the news.
There's also concern about the grim situation in Mali, although if there's one thing we should have learned from Mali, it's that every little thing is going to be all right.
A major achievement for Iran's aerospace research. The country has successfully sent a capsule containing a monkey into space.
Iran enjoyed heartwarming coverage, improving its international image 100-fold by strapping a terrified primate to a plank and flinging it at the sun.
Absolutely disgraceful. And speaking of disgrace...
Hey, hey, are you ready to play? It's time to come and play with the tweenies.
There was outrage as the BBC clumsily broadcast an episode of the otherwise cute children's show The Tweenies, featuring an unfortunate Jimmy Savile impersonation, prompting a barrage of complaints.
Hello all you teddy guys and girls out there. Welcome
Well,
to
it's
the
weird, really, if you ask me, that people complained about that, but no one said a thing when ITV's London Tonight just casually confronted viewers with footage of another risible cartoon figure wearing Jimmy Savile's hair. But we start here. For years, yellow jersey mannequin Lance Armstrong was a hero to millions. He won the Tour de France 7 times, despite, as the coverage implied, having asthma and being so sick he needed constant attention from doctors. His was a fairy tale story, albeit the kind of fairy tale which starts with the hero losing a testicle to cancer. Yet throughout his career, he was dogged by rumours that he might be the cycling equivalent of a value range burger, a dumb chunk of meat containing substances of dubious origin. Rumours which, as ITN forensically revealed, were curtly dismissed whenever they were put to him.
Lance Armstrong said sorry before, but only as a form of attack.
I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry you can't dream big, and I'm sorry you don't believe in miracles.
I believe in miracle drugs. Now, having been stripped of his jerseys, the news got to gorge on all the ghastly details of his fall from grace.
According to reports in America this morning, Lance Armstrong's admitted doping during a TV interview.
Jesus, doping during a TV interview? This guy had a problem. Yes, Armstrong was set to confess all to fearsome inquisitress Oprah Winfrey in an encounter that was trailed like a pay-per-view smackdown.
Oprah, Lance Armstrong, no holds barred.
Although the way Oprah described it to inquisitive breakfast shows made it sound less like a fight and more like an erotic encounter.
At the end of it, literally 2.5 hours, we both were pretty exhausted, and I would say I was satisfied.
It also sounds like the interview had quite a messy climax.
He did not come clean in the manner that I expected.
Ugh. The interview itself was a sexless and forlorn affair in which Armstrong, visibly morphing into Tony Blair, which is what years of lying does to you, answered questions with the searing honesty of an unfeeling machine.
Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Was one of those banned substances EPO?
Yes.
Well done, you're through to the bonus round. Are you a crushing disappointment to millions?
Yes.
Correct, you've won 7 pints of Virgin's blood. But Armstrong wasn't totally emotionless, no. He visibly buckled when recalling how he had to tell his son that the rumours were true.
I told Luke. I said...
Luke, I am your father.
There was also the inelegant manner in which he apologised to former friend Betsy Andrew, who he'd viciously turned on.
I said, listen, I called you crazy. I called you a bitch. I called you all these things. But I never called you fat.
You, sir, are a gentleman bully.
Perhaps not surprisingly, Betsy herself appeared unimpressed when CNN delightedly relayed Lance's comments, and she addressed him directly as a consequence.
You owed it to me, Lance, and you dropped the ball.
Oh, now let's not bring his ball into it.
Still, never mind how people who actually knew him felt. Most importantly, the news wanted to know what people on or near bicycles thought about it, and they quickly went about rounding up their opinions.
I teach kids, and my students had a lot of respect for him. And
do you reckon they respect your hat?
And I feel like he's not setting a good example for the people that they mean the most to, and that lets me down in general.
Oh, boo-hoo! You know what? We hear a lot about the people Lance Armstrong's let down. You never hear about all the liars he's inspired. Having exhausted the pool of people riding bicycles outdoors, they moved inside, asking people at bike shops what they thought of Lie Strong.
As a human being, I think he's a jerk. Would I ride with him? Yeah, I don't care. I know plenty of jerks.
In the wake of the negative blanket coverage of their sport, it's hard to know if cyclists will ever regain their innate dignity. So how can cyclists go forward from here? Well, by pedalling, probably. But even if bikes are a bad scene, not all sport is evil. No, some of it is good, clean fun.
The Olympics were 10,000 years ago, yet the depressed population of austerity Britain still craves their feel-good glow. That's why TV's still throwing things that are sort of Olympic in your direction. Things like this.
Tonight, Olympic hero Tom Daley coaches 5 celebrities as they dive headfirst into the most terrifying challenge of their lives.
Falling doesn't get tougher than this. Yes, in what is the most unedifying example of celebrity plummeting since Rod Hull, ITV have unveiled Splash, starring the nation's favourite CGI Pixar boy, Tom Daley, seen here walking around in his pants like a bloke who's misplaced his locker key. Tom Daley is brilliant at falling into water. Most people flail their arms around and shout, "Oh, shit!" when they fall into water, but not Tom Daley. No, he's taught himself not to do that using mental processes. Here he is talking us through the intense drama of falling into water in the manner of someone under hypnosis recounting a previous life.
When I step out poolside, I can smell the chlorine. I start to climb the steps. My heart is racing. I'm on the edge. My world stops.
I hook the trunks out of my bum and fall into the water. Apart from falling into water, Tom's job is to teach a group of famous and allegedly famous human beings how to plummet into water like graceful and hopefully odourless turds. At times you sense what ITV really want to broadcast is celebrity stripping, but Ofcom said no, so they cleaned it with chlorine and put it on Saturday night. I suspect the whole thing was a TV experiment to find out if celebrities are affected by the law of gravity and whether they fall quicker if they're more famous. There's probably people around the back in lab coats writing all the findings down and passing it on to future generations. Basically what I'm saying is Splash is increasing human wisdom by a factor of at least 40%. The falls they do are impressively complex. Sometimes they have to perform flips and turns, which is hard, and other times they have to impersonate somebody illegally dumping a dead horse in a canal, or someone who's being executed by a single gunshot to the head on the side of a dredger, which is even harder. Then it's over to the judges to decide how good they were at falling. 2 of the judges are experts at falling, and one of them's Jo Brand, whose main qualification to judge a diving contest is that, like all humans, she's 98% water. Of course, the intrinsic problem is that diving doesn't last very long. With only a few 2-second money shots in a 90-minute show, the programme's forced to add more dubious filler than a Tesco value burger. That's why we're treated to underwhelming backstage VTs chronicling their belly-flopping journey, and repeated slow-motion shots of each dive. In fact, it's only really enlivened by revealing questioning from Gabby Logan.
Listen, getting hit in the ring must hurt. Hitting the water looks pretty painful too. What's worse?
Oh, that's a personal question. There are also interminable poolside street dance sequences because people in telly seem to think you can make anything seem contemporary and entertaining by drizzling a bit of f***ing street dance onto it. Seriously, the day we finally broadcast live hangings, you'll see these pricks doing this shit round the f***ing gallows. Splash is actually from Dutchland. The Dutchanese came up with it first, and their version looks exactly the same, but the people falling in it are larger. And they're still sort of celebrities, but only in Dutch. And because they all speak in Dutch, it's the sort of thing that should be on BBC 4, really, because it's basically the same as Borgen, but with gravity in it.
Splash certainly generated some online commentary, which we'll explore now in a regular part of the show, in which we take a look at the kind of entirely reasonable things people are saying online about the issues of the day. It's your words, your mindset. Hey, it's what you think. It's points off of you in points off you. Yes, Linda Barker on the dramatic and entertaining Splash. Her body raised eyebrows and generated much online noise, although not everyone was impressed. For instance, Russ from Lancashire visited the Mail Online website to say, "I'm stunned by the reaction to Linda's body. What's the fuss all about? She's as straight as a plank with only a couple of fried eggs to put into that bikini of hers," that's her told. In the close-up camera shots, she looks every one of her 51 years. Russ there apparently quite angry that a woman he doesn't know has received compliments on her physique. But I'd say you've put her firmly in her place, Russ, her 51-year-old place. Well done. Ria from London chips in to say, "She seems to be a bit of an exhibitionist. I notice she holds her arms above her head, whether it's to wave or if she's running alongside the pool. I'm guessing she does this to elongate her torso and make it look slimmer." Ah, well spotted, Ria. Or should I call you Sherlock Holmes? Yes, as you can see from this revealing footage, not only does deceptive Linda raise her arms, but when she cynically jumps into the water, the waves distort the light, thereby further masking the shape of her liar's carcass. Good point, Ria, and it's good to see women turning on each other. Finally, a real-life Barker encounter for Linda Barker fans. Hannah took to Twitter to say, "I once asked Linda Barker for her autograph for a dare. She was dressed entirely in peach silk. It was 2002. Well, thanks, Hannah. A fascinating glimpse there into your life and Linda's.
There was this amazing programme about Africa, right? All about this country called Africa, which is why they called it that. There's always charity things saying Africa's full of starving people and you should send them your money. But that must be a con because you could see from the footage no one actually lives in Africa. It flies over for ages and there's literally no one there. And the reason no one's there is it's full of monsters. There's like sort of hairy men monsters and tall horse monsters that run around like deck chairs would if deck chairs ran. And these vagina head monsters that fight in ponds. It's really frightening. I'm glad it's miles away.
Normally, animals are in zoos where people give them a sense of purpose by throwing nuts at them and watching them do tricks. But because there's no people left in Africa, the animals have gone mad. Like the elephants attack each other with their mouth sticks, and the tall horse monsters have these head fighting competitions that look like they'd filmed Rocky inside two giraffes by mistake.
It was a bit with a monkey and his bum's a state, right? It was all ragged. He looked like he'd been shitting, I don't know, metal hexagons or something to get an arsehole that torn up. But there's no doctors in the jungle, so he has to just walk around with it like that.
It's so bleak. You can tell the animals are depressed. Some of them are just smashing stuff up. Some of them can't eat anymore, you know. Some of them can't hack it, so they just lie around. There was this gazelle that had hung itself.
It'd show you amazing things you didn't know, like how gazelles can float and how baby ostriches dance to music. And how when a cricket falls on the floor, it makes a massive noise like it's made of metal.
Just like how Who Framed Roger Rabbit had all the cartoons in it, this had all the animals, all the famous animals, crammed in together so the personalities clash. In the jungle, like I'm a Celebrity. And they eat horrible things too, just like I'm a Celebrity, but they don't mind if they taste of animals, because they're already animals, so they can't taste it. They nicked all this other stuff from reality shows. Like, they have infrared night camera, like on Big Brother, so you can see what they do at night when they've been drinking.
He may have style, but he's turning out to be something of a disappointment.
It's incredible what you learn. Like, I discovered that no matter how majestic and incredible nature is, if my phone beeps, I can just ignore Africa and check my text without even thinking. So really, if the environment goes to shit and all those animals die, you know, I think I'll be able to carry on.
In the wake of recent massacres, America has been asking itself searching questions about its apparent addiction to guns. There are now so many tragic mass shootings, they actually air public information films telling you how to survive. I'm not making this up.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality.
This helpful video, which looks a bit like the most harrowing episode of The American Office ever made, teaches you how to react if a man with a shotgun goes berserk in your workplace.
Apparently, you should run. If you can't run, you should hide. And if you can't hide, well...
And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what.
Disgraceful. Look at that. There's 4 of them and only 1 of him. Cowards! Looking at this, it's little wonder the calls for tighter gun controls are growing louder. Well, they have to be loud to be heard over the constant sound of gunfire and screaming. It's a hot-button issue that's livened up Piers Morgan's CNN show considerably as pro-gun guests turn up to shout at him.
And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
The whole thing's become a sort of interactive game show where the viewer has to decide who the biggest prick is.
I don't know, is it the shouty prick or the slimy prick? I just don't know.
This week, thousands